Oh, hold on.
Hello, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to fucking Phoenix Wright. I'm Blue Jack. Hello?
Hey, wait. Hey. Alright.
You
We
alright
had
there?
all this like prep work. Hey everyone. We had all this prep work. We adjusted our audio, everything ready, and then like right when Lujack boots up the stream, you're barking, and my brother's like, "Hey, your door's like open, just like a tiny bit. Did you leave your door open?" And I'm like, "No."
No, not usually. Damn nuts.
Yeah, we should have a lot better audio, if not higher quality overall, then at least because like same mics and everything, but at least now it shouldn't be like,
man, I kind
it
of
shouldn't
wish
be super uneven, like it's some kind of like ad at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I kind of wish that we'd done that before we started streaming Power World, because now we're gonna have just the very first Power World stream with like the old audio being not as good. So anyone that starts a Power World stream is gonna be treated to our old audio, and then the immediate next episode is gonna be like hopefully better, and they're gonna be like, well, that was a weird fucking quick change.
According to legend, Taylor and Lujack made their first episode, and it became lost media, but not because it was evil, but because the audio kind of sucked.
Because the audio was awful. They started a whole new island, did everything from scratch again, pretended like it was the first time streaming. Didn't even acknowledge that they were essentially rebooting it immediately after having fucked it up.
Yeah, when we last left off, I haven't mentioned this on the stream yet. I did this. I went and tried to make sort of an edit of our last video. As of the making of this video, our last Phoenix Wright like episode, and I tried to trim only the plot bits, just for like convenience sake, and it was only like 17.5 minutes long.
Yeah, we should have that as a whole nother playlist for people who just want us to focus on the game.
But that's the funny thing, is that on one hand, I'm like, oh yeah, we should remember to like play the game. But on the other hand, like, I feel like there's a lot of ways to stream a game, and that like, if you can play a game with some varying level of sidebar or whatever, and I feel like is that sort of combo of, oh, this is like 75% bits.
Yeah.
Where you end up learning things about other video games and such while watching or listening to this stream.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yo, this guy has like that old-timey handlebar mustache.
Oh yeah.
Do they have to like gel it to make it look like that?
Probably. Like a mustache wax or something.
Yeah.
I just realized he reminds me of like the King Bob-omb.
Oh, from Mario. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. When we last, for those who are just joining us,
for some reason, it reminds me of like a Sonic character. I don't know why, but like a Sonic character would definitely have a mustache like that.
Well, like a Dr. Eggman thing.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, like, well, isn't this a Capcom? Like, I feel like their characters just would work.
Oh yeah, is this Capcom? Dude, I didn't even think about that. You're right. That makes sense.
I feel like they're adjacent, where their human characters would look like human characters in a Sonic game. But for those who are watching this in sequence, you already know. But for those who are just joining us or have somehow stumbled upon this stream out of nowhere, we just showed him that picture the supposed the victim of this crime who was supposedly shot and or fell into the lake, maybe after being shot? Question mark. We don't know. I think we no one was letting us know who it was, but someone was like, "Oh, I think it was this guy." It's been a while. We had a lot of gaps between streams, but I watched the previous episode and I was like, "Oh, that's where we left off." Specifically, that we had just shown him a picture of this guy with the long gray hair, and I keep forgetting Mr. Gross something's name.
Mr. Grossberg something? Or Grossman?
I always forget if it's Grossman or Grossberg.
I don't remember.
And, yeah, but we got, he was like, "Oh, this guy, that's Robert Hammond." So now we're gonna learn about Robert Hammond.
Yes, we are. Who is this Hammond guy, anyway?
Mr. Hammond, he was the defense attorney in that case.
That case?
That narrows it down. Yes, DL6 incident.
DL6? Why does that sound so familiar? Grossberg! It's Grossberg!
The double Limbo 6 incident. Excuse me. Perhaps you remember.
I'm sure someone mentioned it during the trial for Mia's murder.
That was the incident where the police were so at a loss, they used a spirit medium.
Oh, wait, I remember this. Whoa.
Wait, you don't mean... Editor, put in the intro theme song to the show Psych. I know, you know that I'm not telling the truth.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Alright, well, for Lujack and for those at home, Psych was a crime investigation type show, but with like more of like a bit of a comedy twist to it, if I recall correctly, where the main character was like a Sherlock Holmes type, where he would... my understanding was basically he has the power to zoom in, like he has just really, really good vision.
Right.
So he would look at someone and then like see something that you definitely wouldn't see unless you had really good vision, where it's like, oh, the stitching on their pants is messed up right here, or whatever. He would notice these little tiny details and then have these... Yeah, he would notice these little tiny details about someone, and then do that Sherlock Holmes thing where he'd like put together all the like little details and be like, oh, okay, you must have a cat because you have these like cat hairs on your pants, and then like and this and that. But like due to the events of like the pilot episode, he like puts together all the pieces on like how a crime happened, because he's at a crime scene for some reason. It's literally been like a decade, so I don't remember all the details. But he puts it all together, and then like the lead investigator's like, how would you possibly know all that unless like you were like a witness and you're not telling me, or if you're the killer? And he's like, oh well, it's because the spirit told me. And so the show is him maintaining, him and his like friend maintaining this ruse where he's a spirit medium that helps the police find killers and stuff, but he's not a spirit medium. He's just really good at solving crimes, and just no one would believe that he's just that good.
That's really funny.
And
like,
keep in mind,
it's funny to think that it's more believable for someone to have supernatural powers than for them to just have like heightened human ability.
I think that's honestly like part of the joke, in my opinion, that it's easier for someone to explain like, oh well, the spirit told me who killed them or whatever, than him to be like, oh well, I had these crazy conjectures about like really niche things, and I
I'm
ended
just
up at the right.
really
Like, really,
OCD and I observe on like the most random shit.
and I have like 5'10" vision, or be 5'10" or sorry, 5'10". I have sorry, not 20/20 vision. Is it? Would it be 2010 vision or 10/20 vision? It's the whatever vision where you got even better vision than you're supposed to have.
The vision is so good it's beyond human standards, like some kind
Which
of
is a real
comic book
thing for
character.
that is a real thing, by the way. You can have like unusually acute vision. Like 20/20 means that your vision has nothing like wrong with it.
Dude, I have
But
absolutely no trouble believing that's a real thing. After learning synesthesia existed, I'll believe just about anything exists.
I thought you were gonna say after watching Unbreakable, I feel like that's possible. Like you just
After
I have
watching
messed up eyes,
Unbreakable, I
there
feel
must
like
be-
I feel like when I get
I
bad
have
vibes
messed
about
up eyes, so
someone, I
that's-
should immediately punch them.
No, as if I have messed up eyes, there has to be someone out there who has the anti-messed up eyes, who has like the best eyes.
Oh yeah.
It just makes sense.
If I have bad eyes, someone out there must have best eyes, and I could take those eyes and just basically Sharingan the motherfuckers.
Yeah, and instead of Mr. Glass, my name is Mr. Lens.
Yeah, can we talk about the physics of eyeballs in Naruto and how they like just don't have an optic nerve and you can just pluck an eyeball and pop it into any socket and it somehow
Well,
matches
it's because
every time?
it's because
What is up with the
it's
eyes?
because
and
they transfer. It's because they transfer wirelessly. They use that like coil system, like for charging a phone. I'd like to imagine that when someone's watching an episode of ours, either like they're working on something and they're just like listening and looking over their shoulder, but if they're watching our episode and it's just the episode and they're fully focused, that when we say stuff like this, they're like, hold on, and they like open up the Wikipedia page and like, what is that wireless thing that charges your phone? And like, oh, okay, it's like an you can charge a battery using electromagnetic field, so you don't have to actually directly plug it in. That's really interesting.
You know,
A lot of toothbrushes charge.
that's kind of like how I watch Star Wars media. Like, anytime I'm watching Star
Do you,
Wars
like,
and
pause
some
it and,
random
like,
bit of,
and,
like,
look stuff up?
dude, I'm not joking, that's literally how I have consumed the entirety of the Star Wars media that I've gotten.
Dude,
Like-
I don't want to watch Star Wars normal anymore. I want to watch Star Wars, but it's like Emperor's New Groove, where they pause it and then they bring out like a marker and they tell you what's going on, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, by the way, this type of alien never explained. Nobody knows what this thing is. Like,
Hi, real quick, for those of you who just jumped in on Mandalorian and haven't actually seen any of the original Star Wars movies, moisture farming is basically what you do on a desert planet because we have
it's like a job that makes perfect sense, but also sounds just boring enough where I don't want to ask any more questions about it. Like, yeah, that's probably it's a big dehumidifier, and I assume you have to go out and replace parts every once in a while.
It's like the most real space sci-fi thing that you could be, like in a space sci-fi. Like in a galaxy full of magical Jedi wizards, I'm a moisture farmer. Yeah, that's the most normal thing.
We're going a little off the rails, but I have one more thing, which is like I subscribe to the assumption that the huts in particular have to have some kind of control on like the water import-export market on Tatooine.
Yeah,
because like moisture farming, because like if you were a moisture farmer and had just enough money to like get off planet with your gear, you would if I were a moisture farmer, I would take my stuff, go to a planet that's wet, plug in the moisture farm equipment, and then bring a bunch of water back.
Wasn't that
be like, guys, we're rich?
Wasn't that
be like, oh, you could just bring a bucket, and I'd be like, oh, dang it.
Wasn't there like a whole plot in Boba Fett where this guy was like, hey, these guys stole water from me and I want you to arrest them, and Boba Fett was like, well, no, because your prices for water are too high. Well, back when Jabba was running things, he allowed me to gouge prices like that. Okay, well, I'm in charge now, and that's inhumane and fucked up, and you're not doing it anymore.
You see the light in the name tag. You see the little brass plate with my name on it. Does it say Jabba the Hutt? I don't think so.
Bitch, do I look like Jabba the Hutt?
The answer is. The answer may surprise you.
The answer may surprise you.
Alright, okay.
Well, we gotta get back to this.
We're talking about Star Wars.
We're talking about Star Wars now.
We're here for another hour.
I do want to say just real quick, for like as many problems as Boba Fett like has like with its writing, like I'm right there with people on what's wrong with it and what my problems are with it. But I will say, moments like him basically being like, no, you're not allowed to charge people for water like that. That has to be affordable because we need that to live. Moments like that are like what make Boba Fett interesting to me, because he's like, no, you can't just take advantage of people.
You don't know
stop
me.
that.
My name's Sai. I'm the Hutt water delivery guy. But I think we should give Boba a try. Wait a minute.
Anyway, yeah.
All right, we're back.
Back to this.
So, for those who are just joining us after all of that, I was asking about the DL6 incident, and I vaguely remember this, not only from before, but from like the old timey like zillion years, like 7 or whatever years ago.
Yeah.
When we played this, because I remember being like, "Yo, what were the other 5 DLs?"
Yeah. There's all.
Maybe DL stands for on the down low, and that
down low.
It's just the 6th thing we've had to. It's just the 6th thing they had to cover up. The other 5 are probably vampire related.
Well, the last DL case before this was about a series of people that would just seem to change as people overnight, and they kept being like, it feels like they're being blackmailed or something, and like we're like investigating these weird high schoolers.
It was like correlated with a series of like mental breakdowns that were like inexplicable, where like people were just like crashing vehicles.
Yeah, there was a detective guy who started saying that the people changing hearts were also the ones causing them, and like I don't know, that doesn't seem like something they did.
As a side bit, I know it's another side bit, but like this has really got me in my brain, and I think you'd enjoy it. So like there's. You know how there's basically like 3 like types of scenes in Persona. There's like you talking to characters using the regular like game menu sort of sprite system.
Right.
And then there's characters actually like fully in a scene where the camera is adjusted in some way. And then there's like the actual like anime segments. They're like animated like an anime.
Yeah.
I was just thinking what would make like a really interesting clip. I was like, what if one of the people with the mental breakdown? Well, this doesn't go with the plot now that I think about it, because there was some. I know that there's some kind of conspiracy behind who's having mental breakdowns, and that it's usually like. It's usually traffic or transit related, but I was just imagining like, what if one of the clips is as you're into like the second act or whatever, the second like palace, is like a guy who's just like working at like a quarry, and he's got the quarry truck, and then he's just like, and then he just like starts driving as fast as possible, which isn't terribly fast, but like he's just like driving around and running over stuff in the quarry truck, and they're like, oh, somebody stop him, and then it just like cuts to like Joker waking up, and it's like he just hears over the TV downstairs or whatever. It's like, in the other news is the quarry truck driver ran over a bunch of vehicles, including his own, and that was really weird.
What the fuck is?
I don't know why I was hung up on that. I was just thinking like, oh, if all the vehicles that go haywire, go haywire, but not like be like. But not in like a, ooh, wouldn't this be dark and twisted, but more of like, oh, wouldn't this be like really interesting, is like a quarry truck where it's like, oh, somebody has to like jump up and like grab them, but they have to climb up literal stairs on the truck while it's moving to do that.
What exactly is a quarry truck? Is that like a giant box truck or something?
It's a huge dump truck. I don't know if you've played any games with quarry trucks in them, but
there was that one mission in GTA 4.
I think there's a few. Let's see here. There was a few like quarry dump trucks. I keep calling them quarry trucks, but it's to separate them from your regular dump trucks that are more like an upright cab, and then an actual like dumping like rear part that can be loaded up like a rollaway cart or what have you. Quarry dump trucks are the huge yellow ones, the ones that have like the miniature Tonka versions.
Right.
And you see them in quarries, and they're just the size of like an actual building, and you have to like go up a ladder and then some stairs to get to the cab at the top, and they're just comically large,
think
and
I've seen
they're great.
those.
Yeah, and as a little side note, someone tested this in GTA 5. They were seeing if the physics were, or they were seeing if like what's the highest you can drop various like vehicles in GTA for them to actually like take damage and explode, and they learned that the speed limit on the quarry truck is like completely artificial, where it's like the game itself keeps it from going faster, including down. So if you drop a quarry truck from any height, it just falls slowly.
Of course it does. That's neat.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we don't want to have fun in the quarry truck. We better keep it slow.
Yeah,
So
make
even
it
if you
as
drop
slow
it
as
from
possible.
the sky,
Yeah.
even if you drop it from the sky, it's like,
Yeah.
all right. Back to the DLC. Is that medium my mother? Yes, my dear. The spirit's medium, Misty Fae. Oh, that would have been Maya and Mia.
That's what it
Maya and
is.
Mia are sisters. There's a big age gap, but they are sisters, and their mom was Misty Fae. The spirit medium, Misty Fae. Your mother contacted the spirit of the victim, but the case was a loss. No conviction was made. Yo, you know how I mentioned that, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if there was like a Shrine Girl like character in Persona? And then I just realized, like, what if the reason why they know the reason that they know about Personas is like it was something that they managed to channel at some point, like they connected to the metaverse?
Yo, that would be cool. Hifumi plays chess at a church. Does that count as a shrine girl?
Not. That makes me mad in multiple directions, Lucia. It's okay. One, it's shogi, you Philistine. And secondly, you should play shogi at a church, like a church, like a Catholic-looking, like stained glass.
Like just a straight up church. Like just
It has a confessional,
church.
Lujak. It's the. I'm not saying it's specifically Catholic. I'm just saying you go there and you'd be like, ah, yes, this is where Daredevil hangs out.
Look,
in the rafters.
I'm not saying it's specifically Catholic. What I'm saying is I grew up going to a lot of Catholic churches, and this looks like a church that I've been in several times.
I'm not even. I don't have a Catholic background, but I consider myself just cultured enough to recognize like the concept of a cathedral.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, your turn.
Right.
Playing chess.
But yeah, I don't know why he said chess. I knew it was shogi, but chess is what my American brain fucking cooked up for some reason.
I mean, they are very like similar in like construction, where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's you've got a bunch of different pieces that have their own moves. They can be promoted if they get to the opposite side of the board. It's
and a lot of them are called the same
similar.
kinds of pieces. You got the knight and the king and the queen. Like, it's kind of the same game, isn't it? Like, is there really?
Yeah,
a
it's
significant
I would say it's
difference?
remarkably similar. And if I didn't already go on a bunch of tangents, I would definitely like look up if one inspired the other, because it definitely feels like
Definitely something to look up for later. But like, we gotta
all right.
fucking
The
play the game.
DO6 incident, yes. Happened 15 years ago. A very strange case indeed.
They never caught the criminal, right?
Correct. See Faye use her powers to talk to the spirit of the late victim. Testimony led to charges being laid against one man. And Mr. Hammond won the case, and the suspect was declared innocent. And the police blamed my mother, calling her a fraud. You were the one who helped her out then, right, Mr. Grossberg? Berg, not man, Grossberg.
Grossberg. He's a Berg, not a man. Am I Berg or man, or am I a manly Berg?
I love when I get to make a deep cut that's so deep that, like, people my age wouldn't get it.
Hold on, what was it?
Like,
Repeat
what
it?
the heck is so Are We Not Bergs? We are divas.
What did
Are we not Bergs?
Are we Bergs or are we
dancers?
divas? Are we Bergs or are we dancers? Are we Bergs or are we mans? Are we Bergs or are we Muppets?
A very burger.
We're very Berkeley Muppets.
Alright, sorry. Yes, quite. Thank you. Going with this. No, please, don't mention it.
This guy makes me think of Theodore Roosevelt.
I think you mentioned that. That's kind of where I was going, and I have to enunciate carefully to make sure he doesn't sound like my judge voice, who is just like enunciated older guy.
Wait, Judge from Roger Rabbit?
My judge voice for this game.
He
doesn't. I don't think he has a name. I think he's just Judge.
I don't know why my brain went to Roger Rabbit when you said Judge. What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's just called the Judge, isn't he?
I think so, which is funny because, like, if I feel like that's like an artifact of older movies. I don't know how much of a sort of meme at the time it was, but I feel like that's an artifact of older movies where, like, a judge is like a major antagonist, but not instead of like the district attorney or like the police commissioner or something.
Right.
Like it's kind of funny when you think about it, where it's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you," and it's like, you should have applied for you should switch careers to like district attorney or something, or like chief investigator or something, right? Like. Well, you see, this is a Phoenix Wright universe, so as a judge, I also have to collect all the information.
As a judge, we only have like 3 days to fucking solve the case, otherwise we fucking forget about it. Man, it's like that bit that one comedian was doing when he was talking about the show with the criminals that break immediately and is like... Or no. He was talking about like a show where cops would interrogate criminals, right? And like they would give up on some cases in like the span of 3 days. And he'd be like, "Hey, are we gonna figure out that case we were figuring out?" "What case?" "Oh, the one from like Monday." "Oh no, man, that was on Monday. We're done with that. That was Monday shit. We ain't solving that." Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
I wish I knew, because I like knowing what kind of like bits you've seen.
It was I'll have to fucking see if I can find that for you at some point, but it was anyway.
So it really is like a Phoenix Wright style, where it's like you've only got like a weekend.
Yeah, except instead of it being just a weird quirky thing of how the world works, it's just cops not caring.
Well, was it like a reality show, or was it a drama?
I honestly don't remember the full context. I think it was real cops interrogating criminals, but some of it sounded like so ridiculous. I don't know.
All right, because there are a lot of dramas, a lot of police procedurals and such out there.
Yeah, I heard this bit ages ago, and I don't really know much about the show itself. I just remember the bit itself, and the bit was funny and made me laugh. Anyway.
Now I really want, like, I like the genre of, like, buddy cop film, and so I would just like that, but, like, occupations that are just, like, kind of adjacent to that, where it's just like, me and my best buddy are truancy officers, and we're gonna figure out what's going wrong in this kid's life so he can go to school.
Me and my best buddy are a couple of pal tamers, and we're gonna figure out the secret to the towers and figure out what's going on with that giant tree. Well, because it'd be two tamers! I don't know.
If anything, it has to be buddy cop, so it has to be buddies, but they also have to have, like, they're on, like, a mission. They've been sent by someone who has some kind of authority to tell them to do that.
Well, I mean,
so
let's look at...
maybe we'd be like, we're two deputies who the small settlement has deputized.
Well, do we have to be employed by someone, or can it just be two people who are just busting crooks?
Because I don't...
Like, does there have to be an actual boss figure telling them what to do?
There has to be a top-down dynamic. There has to be, like, a commissioner or, like, the chief or whatever who's, like... who either doesn't like or is, like, begrudgingly respects the buddies, where it's like, oh, you're wild, but you get results, or
you're
like,
loose,
oh, you're silly, but you get results, or whatever.
You're a couple of loose canyons, but you get the job done.
Loose canyons!
Loose canyons? I don't know why I said canyons. What the fuck? You're a loose canyon, meow meow fuzzy face. DL6. Never thought I'd hear that name again.
Wait. What does that case have to do with... Or, what does that case have anything to do with Mr. Edgeworth? It has everything to do with Mr. Edgeworth, my dear. The victim in the DL6 incident was none other than his father, Gregory Edgeworth. That's where it all comes together. I kept having flashes of, like... And if you thought there was, like, a link on the screen, that I saw that too.
I remembered his dad was involved somehow, but I couldn't remember if he was the victim or if he was something else.
Yeah, my brain must have scrambled that, and I kept thinking, like, oh, he shot his master, who was the guy who taught him law or whatever at the law office. I'm like, no, that can't be right. And it's like, oh, okay, the original. So the victim of the current crime is a guy who was charged but found not guilty. Long ago in a previous incident, and the assumption was that Robert Hammond killed Gregory Edgeworth.
Yeah,
who is Miles Edgeworth's dad.
Okay. Yeah.
Editor, write that down.
Write that down, write that down!
He's tenderizing the courtroom. Editor, put that in. Green screen that scene into the courtroom sprite.
Yeah.
What? His father? If you want to know more, ask him yourself. I don't know, he's been pretty tight-lipped.
Yeah, he won't talk to us.
Show him this, I'm sure he'll talk with you. Talk to you. Wait. This is a photograph of my mother.
Misty Figs. What'd you say?
Yo mama.
Yo mama! Well, I'm gonna show you this. It's Yo mama!
Yo mama. I thought of something like this the other day. Yo mama's so fat. When she goes to the tailor, they use surveying equipment.
Well,
That might be too deep of a
I don't
too many
know.
layers.
Yeah, it's a lot of layers.
It's a thing. It's like it's this thing they use to measure like land, like rivers and valleys and stuff.
Dude, do you remember those fucking Brody videos? The Yo Mama
I remember
jokes?
that, and I mentioned this in a episode long ago where I remember hearing, seeing like screenshots of like his Twitter where it was like the ultimate Yo Mama joke is coming up this, and it was, I don't know, it was like 2021 or something. Like it was like several years. It was a handful of years ago. And like it just had suspense. It was just that screenshot with suspenseful music, and I was really hoping that that would be like his last tweet, and also like there would just be no video for like several years or something. Like that was the punch. Like instead of retiring, he's like the ultimate Yo Mama joke, and then he just like leaves.
He just leaves and never tells it. That would have been really funny.
That would have been honestly a little better than like I a few years ago I actually went and like checked to like see what that was, if Yo Mamas were still going.
Are they?
And this was like several years ago, and they are still going, but like it's it feels more like media driven than art driven, if that makes sense. Where instead of being like clever, where it's like, you know, Yo Mama's so fat, they, you know, she puts a belt on with a boomerang, that sort of thing.
Every time she turns around, it's a birthday. Just stand behind her and I don't have to get her any presents.
Yeah, Yo Mama's so stupid. She what was it? She bought tickets to Xbox Live!
And the fat one brought cereal.
Yeah,
oh wait, no, that was the
you know?
Super Bowl. She brought a spoon to the Super Bowl, and the fat one brought cereal.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But like, last time I checked, and this was like years ago, it was very like media / fandom driven, where instead of being about like the sort of like artistry, which is kind of a heavy word to use for Yo Mama jokes, but I don't know. I feel like it's valid. Like it's all about like puns.
They were funny. Like they were funny. They were good. I enjoyed them.
Yeah, it's about setting up like a weird sort of like a weird like mental image or something, and so they were less about like that and more like fandom driven, where it's just like, oh, Yo Mama's so ugly. Fredbear hides from her or whatever. Like I was like, all right, I guess that works.
Feels like a rehash
like,
of the Freddy Krueger bit.
Yeah, where it's like, all right, I see that there's still a lot of work going into, or there's still a lot of work going into like the animation and editing of putting like it all together, but it did feel more like it was focusing too much on what's the word? Sort of like whatever, like, what the heck? Oh, too much on whatever was going on at the time, and not so much on the punness.
Yeah.
How did I have that alarm go off? Oh, it's because the other night I was doing laundry and I set an alarm. I'm always down for a solid Yo Mama joke. You know, like once you ascend from Yo Mama jokes being like schoolyard insults and more about like, oh, what's the like most absurd thing?
What's the most ridiculous concept we can come up with?
Yeah, where it's like, you know, it's not about like being realistic. It's about like the comedy of the mental image. It's like, oh, she gets measured, her tailor measures her with surveying equipment, and you're like, oh, okay, it's just like, God,
Mama's so stupid. She tried to climb Mountain Dew. Stupid lady, that's a refreshing beverage. Jeez.
Oh yeah, and thank you for reminding me. Yeah, there'd be little bits at the end where he's like comment.
Yeah, he like comments on them where he's just like, God, you're so dumb.
And I'm like, I'm okay with this. You only had a handful of Yo Mama jokes to work with, so you may as well stretch the runtime with.
Yeah, you might as well
Going
do
up.
it. Yeah, you might as well milk him for what you can. Anyway, your line.
Sorry. Why is the... Oh, wait, didn't she say this before?
Wait, did we do this already?
Why is the wall there a different color?
A big painting was hanging there until recently.
Oh, yeah, I think we did. But for some reason it wasn't checked off.
Yeah.
The wall
What's
has a
up with
tan
that?
line.
Yeah.
what happened to
Well,
it?
he gave it to someone.
Bet he gave it to some romantic interest.
Oh, I think
Love
that's
blooms
different.
eternally. It's still different.
Yeah, that feels a little different. I don't remember that. Yeah. Maybe that's why it wasn't checked off. What are these books? Expensive-looking mahogany bookshelves filled with expensive.
We're not gonna do the mahogany bit.
Oh, I
not this
really
time.
want to. I really want to do the mahogany bit.
I'm just gonna stop you there. Maybe next time.
Funny.
Chat, remind us to do the mahogany bit later.
Yeah. We'll do it at the end of the episode. Funny.
Pretty sure that's on our streamer bingo.
Probably. It's right up there with like World Doctors references.
Yeah, World Doctors bits. World Doctors bits. There was like a handful of like other like things we usually go to. Deep cuts that are way too deep.
Any mention of how like Days Gone is an underappreciated game that everyone needs to go play.
Days Gone being underappreciated. You can actually bring up the bingo. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Mispronouncing intro cards, System Mastery, Metal Gear Voices, It Was Me. There's one that just says Dozer Clown, and I don't remember what that is.
Dozer Clown.
I don't remember what that is.
I don't either.
I know that we had a bit.
What?
That is wild. 'Cause I'm vaguely remembering that we had a bit that kept showing up, where like, what if it made sense at the time, where there was some kind of clown with a bulldozer showing up, interrupting other bits, but it's.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds familiar. Yo, if anyone out there watching our Dozer Clown bits then immediately comes upon this somehow, tell us in the comments. Just like link it.
Yeah, I got a whole list of like 25 here. Okay, so mispronouncing intro cards, System Mastery, Metal Gear Voices, It Was Me, Dozer Clown, Sammy J and Randy, Key and Peele, Swedish blah 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 blah. Harley reference. It's probably the
cartoon, probably
either the TV show or the comic.
Oh,
Jurassic Park, 12 Ounce Mouse, anime just in general, which I think is pretty wide.
Yeah.
Game Grumps, TED Talk lyrics, where you take lyrics to a song, but you say it like deadpan, like you're delivering a TED Talk.
I remember that one.
Keep this in mind. I designed this rhyme, and then like he hits the button and on the PowerPoint. Team 4-Star, Ninja Sex Party / Starbomb, Metal Gear References, which is different than Metal Gear Voices.
Yes, it's very different.
Snake Eater, the song, specifically, which I don't think we've done in a while. Video Game Mechanics, Video Game Story, Fables? Remember Fables?
Oh,
the
yeah,
comic
no,
thing.
the comic book.
Yeah,
That was the.
Fables a ton.
Oh, dude, Fables is so good.
Extra Pockets / More Human, which we do still do that one.
Which we do still do that one.
I have extra inventory slots.
Extra
World
inventory.
Doctors, Funny Game Glitches, which we haven't done in a while, and Speedrun Silliness. And I think the reason why it seems like we have like some extra bits in here is that it needed to be a list of 25, so it would make like a 5x5 bingo card.
Yeah.
Which technically means that it should have an it should have like a free space, but the free space would probably just be anime.
Yeah, probably. Anime is the free space. Yo, what is up with that, like, hippo with the large underbite?
Yeah, I think I can see it pretty clearly from here, and it looks like a wooden carving of a bear with a fish in its mouth.
Oh, is that what? Wow, I really looked at that wrong. I thought it was a hippo with a large underbite.
And then he's got what I assume is a globe, a very postmodernist globe, where they painted over it with green. I don't know. I thought there was a joke.
Yeah, it's just a green globe. Like, what is this for? Funny. They don't look like they're ever that like blah, 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 but they don't look like they've ever been bred.
Well then, let's take them back to the office. He won't miss. He won't miss them.
You won't miss them. We don't need them.
I have an extra pocket.
I have an extra
spare books. Then can we take that wooden bear?
I have an extra pocket for wooden bears.
It was a bear.
You're right, it is a bear. It is kind of cute. Yeah,
I can kind of see. I can kind of see if I like, not squint, but if I like unfocus, it's like a hippo with an underbite.
Yeah.
The shoulder makes me think, what's it, like the North American bison.
Yeah. To the detention center.
So now we have that picture, which means we can ask. We can ask Miles himself about the EL6 incident. I think that's like the most direct like clue I think we've had in a while. I feel like I'm back in the groove.
Yeah. December 25th, detention center visitors room. Jump scare.
Oh, right. I was doing the voice for
Yeah.
which worked as well. What's this? I was hoping you'd gotten my message the first time.
Edgeworth, what about your defense?
It's no concern of yours. I need to know, though. I need to know, like, if we're not I mean, you know, of course we're defending him in court, because it's a Phoenix Wright game. That's
just how the game has to go. Otherwise, there'd be
like,
okay.
If that's not how it would pan out, then they would still pan out where like someone else is there, but then we're also there, and then like they have like an allergic reaction, and we have to fill in. Like we have to be there because we're the camera. The thing is like, okay, but like, how does the logic pan out, where like, it's like, oh, no lawyer is touching this case or whatever, and it's like, well, but he doesn't. But that's if he was hiring a lawyer. If he doesn't hire a lawyer, then doesn't he get like, what's the word? Not a prosecute. The opposite. Like a state like defendant or whatever. Just like
a state attorney.
Yeah, just like your average everyday like
district attorney or whatever.
Like criminal defense attorney. Not district attorney.
Not district attorney.
Your defense attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your city appointed defense attorney. Like, 'cause it's not like they don't get like a special like thing that's like, oh well, this case it's gonna be difficult. Like, as far as I know, like being a what's the word? Like being the default attorney doesn't mess with your like attorney record or anything, or at least I'm guessing that people who are the literal like default option aren't concerned with like having like a pristine record of like wins or whatever. So when he's like, oh well, I don't need an attorney or whatever, like I feel like he would have one unless he said like he was going to represent himself. Like, he's got to have one.
Yeah. Be weird if he doesn't. Guess he hasn't found...
I still go...
What?
I'm still going with my joke though that like the Phoenix Wright universe has like a just a bonkers legal system where like you're like you're supposed to get an attorney in like by default if you don't have one. But
Right.
it's still possible for like the 5 that are in existence to turn you down, and if they do, then like it's just like a big shrug where the judge has to be like, well, there's no trial, but I looked over the case and I guess I could just bypass the normal like legal procedure.
Well, this is unprecedented, but ordinarily there'd be some kind of case here, but since nobody fucking takes your case seriously at all, I read over it and yeah, no, they're right. Fucking get out of here.
Here's your passport, here's your worker's permit, here's your ID supplement, get the heck out of my booth.
Here's $100,000 to get you set up in a new country. Get the fuck out.
Make no trouble, glory to our Statska.
Our Stutska proud. Guess he hasn't found anyone yet. Talk. What happened? Can I ask you about the murder?
Right. I'll ask you again. Just leave me alone. It's not a question.
Please. Oh.
Please try to I was kidding. I'm gonna take. I would say please try to understand, but I'm gonna make it more biting by removing the please and just say try to understand. Well, I'm gonna take that please and add it to my sentence facetiously, so I say please try to understand.
Oh wait, hold on. What was that? What was that bit?
World Doctors reference. Add it to your
That's
bingo.
World Doctors. That's World Doctors.
It's such a good bit because I was like, oh, that is 2 different ways that you can like sound sad, like be like not, I guess sassy isn't the right word, but that you can be like kind of spicy with your language. Like you can remove the please, but the way that you pronounce the sentence is harsher because you remove the please. But you can also take that please, affix it to your sentence, but say it in a way where it's the please is like a false politeness, where it's like please don't talk to me.
Yeah, it's like all
like,
pretentious.
Oh no, this is a demand.
I'm not actually asking you. I'm being facetious.
I think that's the word.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this to prove I'm tough, or because I look down on you. Just don't want you anywhere near this case. Understand?
It feels
Is this like a mob thing or like a vampire lawyer thing?
You know, I just watched Sonic Prime, and like, this feels like Sonic trying to get Shadow to just get along with the team. This feels like Sonic talking to Shadow, being like,
expand on that. I can see that in my head. I haven't even seen Sonic Prime, but just that premise is really funny to me.
Just the premise of Sonic being like, come on, Shadow. No. Come on, Shadow. No, I don't want to.
I would love... I just want... I want to show... I haven't seen Sonic Prime yet, but like, I want to show that's like Sonic Boom, but they just like... But they loosen the leash a little bit more each like season. They're like, oh yeah, you can... Instead of just like jokes with characters that you just made... Like I would like it with every season. Like, oh, okay, you've earned your cut or whatever. Now you can like add Shadow the Hedgehog if you really want, and like he doesn't have to be like a season finisher or whatever. And oh, you can use like characters that we have in like the IDW comics or whatever. Like just seeing like how much they play with that, and I feel like you would eventually like in the 3rd season, if it had one, it would. I think it only had 2. In the 3rd season, you definitely have a moment, a joke where it's just where Shadow's just like being grumpy, and Sonic's like, "Let me guess, they won't let you use firearms." like canonically, he used to use guns, but just can't on that island.
Like he's not allowed to anymore. No, Sonic.
Oh, it would be like a completely silent, or they would get around it by a completely silent gag where there's like a sign where like Shadow walks up to like a building that like Knuckles has just recently got a security job at, and Knuckles is like, if you come through here, I'm gonna have to frisk you. And like Shadow like looks down for a moment and then just walks away.
Just leaves. It's like Wolverine staring at a metal detector, debating on whether or not it's really worth it to deal with this bullshit or if he should just go home.
And I know that Wolverine like doesn't exactly have most like medical problems, but it's good that he doesn't, because like you can't put that guy in an MRI.
No, you can't.
It's too much metal. He just stick to it.
That's why his healing factor is so
machine.
important. That's why when his healing factor stopped working, he just ended up getting covered in adamantium by the end of it. What was he gonna do? Go to the doctor? What were they gonna do? Be like, oh, well, we can't do shit with you because you got metal bonded to your skeleton.
Well, I love moments like that in comics where like for instance, there was a time that Luke Cage got I think he got like a concussion or something, and I don't think it was in the comics. I think it was in the TV show. It may have been due to being bonked by Iron Fist, where like Night Nurse was like, hey, so you really gotta avoid getting a concussion, because if your like brain gets all inflamed, I don't physically have a way of relieving any pressure in your head. Like you have unbreakable skin and unbreakable bones.
Yo, how the fuck does Superman fake like doctor's visits? Like he has to go in for a checkup. Like legally speaking,
you're right.
He has to. How does he get around people not being able to get a needle into his arm if they need to do a blood test or something?
Well, Lujack, I was thinking about that, and it's like, okay, well, it's one thing, like before 2020, you know, like if some guy was working for a business or whatever, and he just said oh, I've had my flu shots, then he'd be like, yeah, whatever. Like you don't need to like have all your paperwork and stuff. I don't need to see his like birth certificate or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like now post 2020, like no matter how invulnerable he is, if he's in a world that has like COVID or whatever, be like, oh, did you get your shots? And he's like, I really tried.
I was supposed to.
What happened? Oh, they didn't have any. Their needles didn't work.
Well, see, my skin is unbreakable and I have a super immune system, so one, I can't get it, and two, even if I could, there was nothing they could do for me. There's no way for me to deal with this.
I have two solutions for that. One is where it's like late series. It's not late series, but like fully adult Superman, where he's already out of the Smallville phase and stuff, and then he's just like talking about it with Batman, and he's just like, I'll pull some strings. I'll get you a, in quotations, like forged thing that says, oh yes, you got
that makes so much sense. Batman's gotta have like a whole network of just people in that exact position that he has to help like forge shit for. Like, there's gotta be like a whole business around that.
Well, you have to, because remember,
well, not like a business, but like a whole network, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing is that if you were like another crime, I mean, this is probably why it's important for Batman to be the main crime fighter in Gotham, is that if you were another crime fighter in Gotham, that you would be like, I noticed, I think there's something shady about this business. It was only, it keeps like changing names and has like shell companies, and I keep like trying to find it, and then it all comes back to like Panama, and I somehow track that down, and it just led me to Wayne Corp. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like
how did
you still have to use all the shady methods to hide your paper trail if you're Batman and you need someone to fix. You need to hire a regular mechanic to fix the Batmobile. Like. Sure, you can assume that Batman does a lot of the repairs himself because he's Batman, but like I like to imagine that at the end of the day, Batman doesn't do every single thing, and like did enough studying and reached out to enough of his like closer confidants that he's like, oh yeah, I do hire like a few like rotating mechanics who fix the Batmobile.
Well,
They're just really good at keeping secrets.
Well, yeah, no, see, the thing is, Lucius Fox is in charge of that whole department. Lucas Fox is his son, if I recall. No, Lucius Fox deals with that.
No, okay, no, that was one idea. My other one was just a scene of like, of just Clark, just regular Clark, and he's at like your, not Walgreens, but like Walmart. He's at the thing, and he's just like sitting there, and he's like, oh man, I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna just keep like gonna try to get a shot, and they'll just be like, oh, you just have thick skin. We'll just call it a wash or whatever. And like it, and they go to do it, and they're like, oh, wow, you must have really tough skin, and it like just doesn't working, and then they try really hard and like bends, and he's just like, so if I was like an alien or a cyborg or something, can you sign off on this because I'm already immune and that I can go back to work?
Yeah. No, like, dude, okay, I can actually see that being like a setup for like a
like,
very.
And then they'd be like, well, if you're an alien or cyborg, what can you do that's alien or cyborg? And he just like does something really simple, like shakes his hand really fast. You know, he just like vibrates it left and right really quickly, and they're like, yeah, that seems like an alien or cyborg thing. All right, I'm gonna sign this off.
I love the idea of like a young kid starting out his superhero career, not wanting it to get out that he has like weird powers like that. And the doctor just being like, all right, man, look, I'll work something out for you. I won't fucking tell anyone. I'll write it off. I'll make up some paperwork for you or whatever. It's fine.
On that note, I'm gonna just add this, that like, there has to be, if not Batman, then someone, there has to be some kind of like security system where if you're someone who's like born with powers as opposed to like you got them later in life, like,
yeah,
like the Flash or something. If you're born with superpowers somehow, that like there has to be a security system where basically like witness protection, but for like pediatrics, where they're like, oh right, the person who confirmed that you were like super able, that you were a metahuman at like 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's to like move them and their whole family to Vermont, grow a mustache or whatever.
Yeah.
Because now they know your secret identity. They can come out of hiding if it ever becomes public knowledge, but otherwise, like they're just like shuffled into the mix.
Yeah. Let's read this. Why did you go to Gourd Lake?
I have no intention of telling you.
Nor apparently would you.
Sometimes I like to go down to the lake and sing songs about the lake, to the lake.
Slug, sometimes I like to go down to the lake and skip around and frolic like I'm selling fucking seashells or something. Like.
You're gonna say, sometimes I like to go down to the lake and skip around and frolic like I'm solid freaking snake.
Like a solid freaking snake? This beach.
It like rhymes.
Oh, this beach is pretty good.
How funny would it be if you know how there's like the different like boxes with different like camo, but in MGS5 like there was like a water resistant box, and it was really niche. But sometimes it rains or whatever. How funny would it be if there were like rivers or something, and that you could get into the box, and if you approach the side of a river, if you had like the fully waterproof box or something, you could just use it as a boat. You jump in and just kind of paddle with your hands.
That'd be so cool.
Like you could get around, you could like hide in the box and put the folds back over you, and you just look like a box floating down the river. And,
dude,
guards wouldn't notice you.
That would have been such a great mechanic. It would have made no fucking sense realistically, but it would have been amazing.
I mean, I think realism, not so much. Like the buoyancy might work. You need a surprisingly small amount of air to lift someone, but like stability, no. But like I think it would basically look like he's in like a Minecraft boat. Yeah,
it would be great. I would love that. I hope the next game has that, if there ever is a next game.
Also, it would be like it'd be neat because it would, I don't know, there's something kind of charming about the box being facing the other way, where you're facing it like, right, like face up.
Yeah, it'd be neat. Nor, yeah.
Your line?
Nor apparently would you tell Detective Gumshoe.
Detective Gumshoe was really worried about you.
Look, man, Gumshoe's like probably one of the few people in this game who actually care about you besides us, so... Hey.
I describe him as, whenever I think, like, how do I describe Gumshoe? It's just that line from What's Going, not Hey Ya, what is it? It's a song that's like, What's going on? Is it just called What's Going On?
I think it's just, hey, I don't know what it's actually called, but... You know, I wake up in the morning.
It's just...
I wake up in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream at the top of my lungs, what the fuck is this song called?
Let's see here. What's Going On by American singer-songwriter Marvin Gaye? 1971.
Was that Marvin Gaye?
I don't know if that's the correct What's Going On.
I don't know if that's the right one either, because I feel like he does have a song called What's Going On, but I don't think it's the same.
What's Up? No. Oh, there's someone asking, what's that song that goes Awake in the Morning? What's Up by Four Non-Blondes? Oh.
What? That's such an oddly specific, like, color. Four non-blondes. So, what happens if a blonde person joins your group? Do they have to, like, dye their hair?
Cuatros Nos Rubios. I've been learning a little Spanish. I think that's it. Doesn't sound... alright. Anyway, no, sorry, it was, I just think of the sprite of Gumshoe, and just that line where it's like, and I try. Where he's like, he tries all the time. He really is just trying.
Oh god, do I
he's
try?
He's not great at any individual thing, but I respect the general hustleitude and the fact that he is potentially our lifeline if he can get the right data.
Yeah. And he prays, oh my god, do I pray. I pray every single day for a goddamn...
I've only seen, in the longest time, I've only seen like the meme, the He-Man meme of that song, and I always wondered if that song has like the AOL Instant Messenger sound effect in it, and if it does, why?
I don't remember, I haven't heard that song in years.
Alright. I say we present this photo, we talk to him, and we say we get out of here.
Yeah, I agree. Let's fucking, what is fucking, oh, I need to get out of that. Present.
This is like a weird question for you. Well, here's a regular question followed by a weird question. Regular question, have you ever been like a regular at like a coffee place or other like this location?
I think I briefly became a regular at Pockets, but not for super long.
I remember that. And then the weird question is like, what if you were like a regular at a coffee shop or something? Like you were there like almost every day or something, or almost every like week work day or whatever. But like you never saw the same person working there. Like how long would it take for you to be like, this is weird?
This is weird. Who the fuck? How does this place work?
Yeah, because I think for me it would take like after like the 4th day, because I can believe like 4 different people working 4 different like days of the week like sure, because that still kind of could add up if it's like one manager and then like a whole scattering of other people. But if at like the fifth day, if there's like a fifth person, I'd be like, what? Well, you still got a whole work week and it's just a different person each time. And then the sixth time I showed up, if it was like a whole other person, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe one of them got fired and they hired another one. And then the seventh, I'd just be like, okay, hold on, nobody works here twice. What's going on here?
Something fucky's going on. Is this place run by aliens? Is this like that one episode of Teen Titans where Beast Boy worked for like a meat place and they turned out to just be like a bunch of aliens?
Oh, Lujak, there's something strange about that noodle place. I keep seeing, it's like 3 in the morning and I still keep seeing people go in there.
What happens?
Lujak, like searching his mind palace for my reference.
I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to think of it. I can't fucking think of what it is.
It was the Chongqing map in Hitman.
Oh.
The third game in the Hitman trilogy.
Oh.
If someone mentions it, they're like, yeah, there's something there's something weird about the noodle place. Even at like 2 in the morning, I see people like constantly going in there. And like, oh, well, people always want to have a hankering for noodles. I don't know what to tell you. And then it's just like, oh, people will like, the people part of like a secret organization will dress up as noodle cooks and go in as like noodle cook employees, and they'll go to the back and then go all the way down the stairs and into like the back streets and then hit like a combo on like a shipping crate and go in a whole secret facility.
Yeah.
Which is funny now that I think about it, because like there's also like the area, the back streets where they actually like enter the like shipping crate that's like a false entrance. Like that area isn't that well covered up per se. So like if you were just casually looking over, you would see like a noodle cook just go into a shipping crate. I guess isn't too weird, but you'd see them like poking it like it's got a combination lock.
Right.
So it's a little weird. But the thing that I think is funny is that like in that case, like they don't actually have to be dressing up as noodle cooks, because the back streets are already like patrolled by their own like security group, so they could be dressed as like as anything in particular, and whatever they're thinking, they could still be dressed as fry cooks, but they don't have to take the long route around. They can just go through the normal streets and be like, oh, I'm this person, here's my ID, and then be like, all right, go ahead, and they could just go to the back streets instead of having to go through the kitchen of a noodle place.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if they didn't go through the kitchen, then how would you have the opportunity to knock out so many of them?
Yeah, then the game wouldn't happen.
Oh wait, you did present.
Edgeworth?
I read those lines. You can't say that I didn't. Oh, it's only been a matter of hours since you last visited. You've made incredible progress in your investigation.
Yeah, I found one picture. I don't know if that qualifies as incredible, but like thanks.
I don't know.
guess.
Yeah, I don't know how to read that line. I need some. I need the little animator notes.
Like
tell me.
What did he mean by that?
Now I know how those people in like early video games felt, where it's like, hey, can you read this line? And it's like, I guess, but like, and then you see it in the video game, you're like, oh, well, I was reading it in the totally wrong tone. I didn't know what I was working off of.
Yeah.
Supposedly that's one of the big reasons why like early video games had like such weird voice acting, is that like voice acting, especially in the early years, like one, it wasn't such a like a refined art with an entire like study behind it, as a specific like thing. I mean, I guess if you're in theater, then maybe.
Yeah.
But two, that like there wasn't as much as extensive communication between like the people making the game and the voice actors. So you had a combination of people who were new to voice acting and not necessarily getting the right direction. which is why you sometimes end up with lines that are like, oh, this line would have been great, but is slightly the wrong tone, because like it feels like they're reacting to a different conversation than like what's being presented.
Yeah. Very strange. Weird shit.
I'll admit it. I'm impressed, right? You were always single-minded in your work, though. You got tunnel vision. You're sniper TF2, okay? You got a guy right behind you doing emotes. It's gonna be really embarrassing when he goes pow and you die.
It's like the Jaws music as he starts to approach him. Dun dun.
Well, no, it would be the it would be like any character class's emote or taunt kill, especially if it's like heavy, where they definitely shouldn't be up there, and it would be difficult for heavy to to get there in the first place. So it's that embarrassing. Ow! Once you start on something, you always see it through, don't you?
About the DL6 incident.
Right. DL6. Didn't want you to find out about it. That's why I refused your offer to defend me. Sorry if that sounded like I thought you weren't up to that job. I just wanted to keep you away from DL6.
So, do you still think it would have been better for me to stay away?
You're getting too close to this case, right? Back off.
I don't like you being this close to the case, right? I'm taking you off the case, you're too close to it.
You get close to this case again, I'm gonna have your badge and your lack of a gun on my desk.
You're a loose cannon, right? Actually, I don't know if I can really call Phoenix Wright a loose cannon. He seems like the...
You're incredible. It's the opposite. You're incredibly well-tied, well-fastened cannon.
You're well-fastened, properly maintained, well-polished cannon that doesn't backfire or malfunction.
You're not even a cannon. You're
a
fastened. You're like a bag of rice.
You're not even a cannon. You're more like the guy that writes all the stuff down in the book, or the person that like finds the places. You're useful. You're useful and you're good at your job.
You're a dry bag of rice that they left in the magazine instead of the hold for some reason. Hold on, let me get my diagram on ship so you can see.
What the fuck? Oh, I think my controller turned off.
Show me your attorney's badge.
Hey, you want to see my attorney's badge? Oh, no.
I don't know. But I see no point in hiding anything from you now. I feel like that's kind of the argument that we end up going through a lot in this game.
Yeah,
I can't tell you about this, and you're like, I figured out half of it, but I need the other half to actually make this like court case work, and they're like, all right.
Yeah. You always have to like do half of the work before they're like, oh well, there's no point in being difficult anymore at this point. No.
Look, I'm just saying that under the circumstances, what's her name? The lady in the pink outfit, like, you could get a good plea deal. Like, she's well within, what's the word? Like, I think she was relatively well within her duty of care, right up until she could have gotten a plea deal. In which case, she should have been like, all right, I need protection from this guy with all the connections or whatever, and I'm not gonna testify to a murder that didn't happen like I'm being told to tell it.
Right.
Alright, sorry. I forgot her name. Very well.
I don't remember either.
Ask whatever you like. and I will answer to the best of my abilities.
And we will do that next
We will ask
time
you on the next episode.
of Beefalorian Z. Your Honor, they're doing the DBZ thing again. What is with these guys?
I feel like that's the like first thing I think that rolls off the tongue when I think like we'll see you next time on People-Lorians. No.
Yeah.
What did the intros sound like for original Dragon Ball? Do they just say next time on Dragon Ball? Like I'm so used to the.
I'm gonna be real with you, man. My memory of Dragon Ball is so scattered and like random that I remember the basic story beats of King Piccolo and the Red Ribbon Army existing. I do not remember. I do not remember.
We could do the Pokemon thing and be like, we'll ask him more questions next time as the journey continues.
Oh yeah. Oh, I need to watch Pokemon again. I want a Pal World show. Like a Pal World anime. It would be so cool.
I support that, but I don't think... I feel like there's some things that, a whole bunch of things that need to be, like, sort of polished and refined.
Well, yeah, I mean, the game's still early access, but the story beats are all there. Like, yeah, each tower boss has, like, lore and, like, stuff going on. Like, there's enough basic...
Is there a PAL that lets you, like, detect those little, like, codexes? That'd be useful.
That would be useful. But yeah, no. Basically what I'm saying is there's enough lore for Power World to, like, get a sort of rough draft going.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this lovely evening. I have been Taylor.
I've been Lujic.
We've been the People-Lorians. This has been Phoenix Wright, and I am reminding you to take care.
Stay awesome.
Catch your pals and be nice to them.
And, watch, One Piece and Symbionic Titan and drink water.
Bye!
Bye!